Thanks for coming to $700 Audi. Today we're working on this 2015 Buick Encore again. This time we're doing the water pump. This thing's been leaking coolant for a while, and we do have a separate video on how to diagnose water pumps and coolant leaks. But this one in particular needs a water pump. It's needed it for a while. It's been leaking. We lose about a gallon, a little over a day. So we want to be really careful when we're doing this one. There are 2 torque to yield bolts that you got to pay attention to. You do have to get new bolts when you get a water pump, or it's recommended anyway. I wouldn't push it too far with these torque to yield bolts. Basically, torque to yield means you tighten them up to a torque and then you give them a turn after that, and it actually stretches the bolt. So for you guys that like to reuse this stuff, it's risky, and it compromises the metal every single time. That bolt gets longer, and eventually it will snap. So something to watch out for. Got my white shirt on. We're all clean. We're going to start off this way. I'm going to get dirty with you. We'll see how long this is going to take. You do it with me. All right. So 7 mil or 7 mil here. We're going to take this whole air box out. Get rid of this plenum. This just pops out like that. And then this, pull this little red tab out like that, squeeze, shake. We're going to use our upholstery tool to pull this out. Oh, I guess it's just going to come out. Okay, so that's out. And then a 7 mil here, and this whole thing should pop right out. Do what you do, man.
Gimme.
Gimme. Alright. There's that. Next thing is we'll have to take this motor mount out. Easiest way to do that is going to be supporting the bottom side of the engine with a block of wood and a jack. And then we will we'll go ahead and pull that motor mount. Little rachetay. I went to school with a guy that called him rachetay as a joke. He made everything try to sound fancy.
I got this rachetay.
Yeah. Fitz, if you're watching, that's you. Really what they're saying is, you'll want to take this to the dealer to get your work done. That's really what they're saying.
No.
Yep. And every other car manufacturer is taking notes too. If you're not a professional, we don't want you anywhere near our car. And then you got idiots on YouTube like me that are like, watch me.
Oh my gosh, they got dope pins and another screw down at the back.
Yep. And then this is probably a T20. Try a T25. Oh, it's T25. I got dirty for you, man. We are going to put this like that. All right. really don't have to put much pressure on that. We're just supporting it. Now we can start taking these out. These are probably 15s or 16s. Okay, that one's loose. That one's loose. And that one's loose. And what about this guy? Let's see, are all three of these the same? They are. Good. And that one. Okay. There's those. This should pop off. Yepperooskies. Hey, your motor mount. We got at least 2 more bolts, probably 3. Yep, I see a third one down there. This is where it gets real fun.
Snug.
Yeah. Little tweet. See? I gotta get on this head right here, but there's no room for my ratchet, so. Now we go to a short. Alright. Okay. That was in there. Yep, doesn't go far enough. Pretty far, but not far enough. So that one we'll just leave in like that. Should come out when we pull the rest of this out. Bits and pieces at a time is how that comes apart. The other thing you could probably do is jack the motor up, but I don't really want to do that. All right, one more to go. Like that guy. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to jack this up. That should be good. Really?
I don't think it was.
All right, here, let's try it. Let's try that. That'll work. So there's the water pump. There's the tensioner right there. Tensioner, water pump. So before we remove the belt, we're gonna wanna loosen the water pump pulley bolts. All right, inverted Torx. All right, this is an E12 inverted Torx. I bet people watching this video are like, what the hell is an inverted Torx? Well, that's an inverted Torx. And the belt will help keep that pulley from spinning. I just loosened all 3 of these. Now you can take the belt off and then take the pulley off. So what we do is we put a locking pin in this to make it so it can't come out of there. So we do that basically, okay? Because when that comes apart, it's going to want to try to expand. And then what comes out is this bolt and the one at the end. So that one is also a 14. It says to remove this one first. That, I believe, put tension on our locking pin. It's under a little bit of stress too. So there's that one. And then the one at the bottom is an inverted Torx as well, but I think it's smaller. Let's see. Yep, it is. Why would it be the same size? Alright. That would be too easy. Alright, so that's started. We'll go back and finish this one. I do have a 90-degree electric ratchet that I could use. This thing is probably chilling in that bore, and it's just like not coming out. Here it comes. Here it goes. Alright, that one's out. It's gonna make for putting it back in real fun. It doesn't want to line up. Be a good time. Alright, so now that's out. So we'll move the belt this way. I'll try to get that out of there without messing that up. And there's our tensioner. So this little guy is keeping this spring from trying to explode. When we put it back in, we're going to have to figure out a way to get that to move down. Probably put this bolt in, put something on here to try and move this into position. Would be my guess. But now, the belt can come out. One more belt. Next step, water pump. So these screws, pulley. Yeah, I'd say she's leaking.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
Awful.
We may end up having to replace this little section of hose right here and the clamps. Just to be sure, right? We don't want to do this job again. So, alright, 10 bolts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6. And then there's 7 and 8 here, and then a 9 and a 10. So there's quite a few, and we'll show it all taken off and everything. But bust out this guy. It's the whole reason I bought it. Well, before we do that, we can take the thermostat off, put the drain pan underneath here. So here's thermostat housing. That's the upper radiator hose. We have a new thermostat today too. So coolant sensor, take thermostat out. Those are also E10s. And then we'll take this clamp off back here too, and we'll get whatever water's going to come out, and then we'll start unbolting the water pump. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Here, grab the big square triangle. So we're going to pull coolant sensor. We're going to pull this. Then we're going to pull the upper radiator hose. So the upper radiator hose, to pull that, you just use our trusty 90-degree hook pick or a screwdriver. There are detents for this. It does not need to pull all the way out. You can see the detent there. There's one on the bottom side as well. And then before we crack this open, we're going to loosen up our reservoir. That'll let all the pressure off the system. There's not much in this one. Be very careful when you remove this. Go very slow. When the pressure comes off of there, the steam could be very hot, or there could be tons of pressure back there and be in a bad way. Okay. Here's our upper radiator hose. We'll just drain a little bit more out of it. Good there. And then we'll pull this tab up on our alright. That's all we need for that one. Don't break that. And then you're going to push down this black tab and just pull up on the connector. Just like so. Kind of tuck that out of the way. So that's off. And that thermostat's ready to come out. And if you're doing a thermostat, then obviously you don't need to do a bunch of these this water pump stuff, but thermostat's fairly easy to change. Pressure's off, and we drained a significant amount out of here. We're going to take this clamp right here off to remove our heater hose, and then we'll be ready to pull the water pump. Out. We're going to use the Nipex. Here's the part number. And these things are great. See, it's grabbing onto the wrong stuff, I think. But nope, we're good. If your heater hose is stuck, take your 90-degree pick, go right in here, and just work it around. A lot of corrosion on that one. Okay. Kind of move this out of the way somewhere here. There you go. All right, now we're ready. In order to make space, I guess we'll disconnect this guy too. So, first things first, we're going to take all the ones out of the top. So these two, and this one. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So where's all your bolt holes? So we're going to do these 5 first, and then the bottom ones. Alright, what we're going to do is as we pull these out, we're going to drop them into their holes. So now all 10 of these are out, and I put them in their places. Now it's time to pull this whole thing out. We can pull this out with the thermostat. Save ourselves a little bit of time taking this apart. And when this comes apart, it's going to make a big mess. So if I put something right back there and pry out, it should pop out. Right back here. There it goes.
I heard it.
Yep. Gush. This is my favorite tool to use on those style clamps, but I don't know if it's gonna. It should get tight enough. Alright. Okay. Probably not gonna be able to see this very well, but all I'm doing is pulling the hose off. So that's it. She's out. Hit it. Alright. So we gotta get all that gasket material off of there. And the best way to do that, I found I've got a gasket cleaner, but you don't want to get it inside that water jacket right here. So we're gonna stick something in that water jacket and use a powered gasket cleaner to clean that up. Other way to do it would be a razor blade. There's a gasket scraper, which is basically a razor blade on a stick. There's plastic gasket scrapers, but those are your options. So however you want to get that off there, get it off there. Don't use sandpaper. Don't use anything that's going to mar that surface up, because you got to have a nice, good gasket there. So pretty clean. We took the time to spray the engine off with some brake cleaner. And down in here, so a couple small areas, but otherwise very clean. And we've got the new water pump right here. The torque to yield bolts that you have to replace are this one here and this one here. If you're looking at a set of instructions, it's going to come off as number 1, which is this guy, and number 8, which is this guy. These are your part numbers for the two. So the longer of the two bolts, this one right here, is this number 1 up in the corner, and here's your part number. It kind of broke off, but here's your part number. It's 555-64507. And then this is your number 8 bolt. It's a shorter one. It's 11099551. These are your 2 torque to yield bolts. You'll torque everything down to 71 inch-pounds. It is 71 inch-pounds, 8 Newton meters. So 71 inch-pounds on all of them, all 10, and then an additional 30 degrees on these 2. So those are your torque to yield bolts. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna get this thing bolted on. We'll clean up every bolt as we put it in. Here's our new gasket. We did opt for a metal gasket. So here's our new gasket. We'll throw all this stuff together, and we'll see you in a minute. T-stat. Alright, now, new thermostat.
Oh, it's right here.
Balmy Blazer. So these are 80 inch-pounds for the thermostat, and then 71 for all the rest. Toasty. Okay. Okay. Booyakasha. Right there. Okay, we'll do this one next. So there's that. Inverted torques is just rude. Alright, it says cross pattern, so we're going to do the best we can do with a cross pattern here. There's that one. We'll do this one. And we'll do so now we need to turn 1 and 8 an extra 30 degrees. So 1 and 8 were this one and this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1. So we're going to start at 12 o'clock. And we're going to go an extra 30 degrees. So that's it. That's close enough. And then, what is it, this one?
Mm-hmm. Should be that guy right there.
That's it. Good enough for me. So we're going to pop the upper radiator hose back on. That just pushes in. Snap that. All good there. And then this guy goes back on here. Like that. And this guy. There we go. Okay. Push down the red clip. Good there. So since we have it out, we did end up wanting to replace this piece of hose with this. I had some 3/4 laying around, put some new clamps on it, so we're not fighting those. And that's the heater hose that goes from right here to right here. So, pair of needle nose. I think the whole reason these things exist is for this single purpose. But it works, doesn't it? I'm telling you, man,
Regularly scheduled program.
most of fixing cars and stuff is looking for tools and looking for bolts that you dropped. It's like 90% of working on cars. There, that's in. And let's see if we can get this guy in there.
You want me to grab the belt?
No. Not ready for the belt yet. Okay, now with this, okay, around the AC. And this goes in like this. And that part goes around. The way the tensioner works, we'll leave this off. Put that on there. So it'll make it easier to get to. So you get all that ready to go. And then you put your ratchet on this part right here on the pulley. And then push down to get your bolt on, or get your belt on. And make sure everything's lined up still. Looks good. Now we can tighten these. Okay, last thing. So we'll put a little bit of tension on this. Pull that pin. Let that rotate forward.
Sorry.
There's the pin, and then we'll tighten everything down. So what I did to get this in, each one of these three, chances are when you're done, the engine will be misaligned a little bit. Just drop a punch or pry bar or something in one of these holes initially, and then kind of wiggle it around to get one of these lined up, and then just move down the row, lining each one up individually, and then that last one you should be able to shake it in place. So we are all set. We finished up the water pump on this car. As you can see, it is a fairly dirty job. Expect to get reasonably dirty. It took us about maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours with cleaning up the water pump and the gasket and everything. But thank you for coming to $700 Audi. Thanks for getting dirty with me. If you like this video and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe.